What's up, YouTube? So I've been noticing my cars not starting quite as easily as it used to. I mean, it starts way better than probably most people's cars, but I can feel like a performance issue slowly creeping in, and I got a couple ideas on what it could be, but I figured I'd make a video kind of showing you how to troubleshoot out something like this. So the only thing is maybe it takes a little bit longer to start, like by a couple seconds than it used to. Maybe a little hesitation every once in a while, but nothing. Most people wouldn't even notice it, but it's just because I drive it. Oops, got a helper up here. Just because I pay attention to how my car performs and stuff, so I notice a little degradation in performance there. So I was going to show you some tips on how you could kind of see what's going on with your car instead of people. I see people all the time throwing parts at their car. Oh, I'm having something. It must be fuel injectors, and they just go out and buy new fuel injectors without testing them out or anything. So, anyways, um, so basically, you're having three areas you can have. You can have mechanical. That's like if your valves are messed up or something. You could have electrical, and that's usually dealing with the spark, but it can be any number of things. And then you have fuel, and a lot of times it's fuel pressure, fuel injectors, or something like that. Maybe in your fuel filter. Oh, everybody assumes their fuel filter must be clogged, and they go and change it without any good reason. Anyway, so I'm gonna kind of start with electrical, and the heart of your electrical starts at your battery and ends in your battery. So that's kind of like the first thing I'd want to check. So I'm gonna go over here, and I just get a voltmeter here. You want to put it on where you can measure around 12. Mine I'm on a 20 scale. So, and you want to make sure your leads, your commons, usually not a problem, but you want to make sure your voltage is on volt leads. And I'm going to test my battery out. And you just put your black lead, should be on your common, and that goes to your negative post on your battery, and your red one goes to your positive post. So I'm going to check my battery and see what my voltage is. So I'm getting 12.7, which I'm thinking it should be more around 13. I can't remember if that's running voltage or not. So I'll look that up and I'll verify if 12.7. Also, what I'll probably do is I utilize my auto parts store lots because they do free testing. Maybe swing by them and have them test out my battery, because when they put their test equipment on there, it can kind of like tell your cold crank amps and stuff like that. And that very well could be my battery's probably getting a little old. So that might be something to look at. The next thing that I'm going to test and show you how to do, which for some reason another thing a lot of people don't do, is I'm going to check my my spark plug wires. Now I'm just going to crank my change my voltmeter to the ohm setting, and mine I have to switch it over, and then it should be, I'm going into the 200k because 20k is too low, and I'm going to check the resistance of my spark plug wires, and I'll just show you one of them. I'm not going to make you watch me check all four of them, and it should be around no more than 25k ohms. So what I'll do is remove my number one spark plug, and by doing them one at a time, you'll know which one you took out of where, so you don't even really have to pay attention if you just do them one at a time. Also, I'd like to say Honda OEM spark plugs are better than most aftermarket spark plugs. And I see people all the time, they go and they throw away their OEM spark plugs just because, and then they buy even, quote, the premium plugs are probably not as good quality as the original OEM plugs. But anyway, so you just turn on your meter. You just stick one in and one, and you want to make sure you're not involved in the circuit. What I mean by that is, you don't want to be doing this stuff. Hopefully this is showing up on camera, I can't even see. Yeah, and so I just putting one in on, oops, this is kind of a short one, so it's fighting me a little bit. Just put one in there, another in. Oh, I can't even reach it. So that might be a trick. I might have to get, there, I got it down there. And in my case, these leads, I don't think they're OEM, but I'm only at a 11 K. So that's good. You don't want them over 25K. If they did, it's time to look at some new spark plug wires. So I'm going to go through and test out all my spark plug wires and see if any of them are out of spec. Alright, so I went through and I checked all my spark plug wires, and I figured I'd take this time to show you a couple things. First is, like I said, you don't want any spark plug wires to be over 25K. And then I just started from the front and worked my way back, checking each spark plug wires. And something you'll notice is your longer wire will have the most resistance in it. So this might be 11K, and then as you go, each of these wires gets shorter. So I might go like 11K, I don't know, maybe 9K, 7K, 6K, something like that. And the cat thinks he's being sneaky under there. Anyways, so again, you're looking for a high resistance, which means it'd be time to change the spark plug wires. So my spark plug wires appear to be fine. And a couple little things that I'll show you that I like to do. If you'll notice, I alternately wrap, just for looks on this case. This will go here. Actually, I think I did that one wrong. Anyways, that one's fine. But what I was going to say is you can use the boots to help kind of lace your spark plug wires. And then you should use these clips, the little plastic clips that everybody loses. You should use those. They help space out your wires and keep them apart. I've seen, even on eBay, they sell cool looking, or even I've seen them in auto parts store, they sell cool looking metal clips. You don't want to use metal on your spark plug wires, and the reason being is when this one fires with a high voltage, it creates magnetic fields and such, and you actually could introduce crosstalk into the other, at least that's my opinion, is that you're susceptible to crosstalk into your other spark plugs. And if you could scope them out, you don't want noise in the other spark plugs. You want that eliminated as much as possible. And as you can see, I come along here and I try to run each line so I don't have any plug lines crossing over. And again, that's just my personal preference. I try to avoid any what I call crosstalk. If you deal with a phone wire, if you have somebody doesn't know how to lay their phone wire, and there's like a hum in the line, if you look at phone wire, it's got twists, and that's because if it comes up against, it's twisted together, so if it comes up against another power source, the line, and it's getting induced voltage from, like say, a magnetic field or electrical field, it'll induce the same amount of voltage into both lines, and it'll eliminate hum, and that's why they twist the pair. So my point is if you have your wires twisted, you can introduce, in the phone world at least, and it should apply to the other fields, it might introduce crosstalk. Anyways, with that being said, I'm going to stop at this point, and then as I move along, I'll make a video showing out how else I'm troubleshooting this. So I didn't really find anything. I don't have a definitive answer in my battery. I think it was 12.7, which seems a little low to me. I'm going to go back and check that, and I'm probably just going to take it in and have it tested. Because if I'm getting like not enough cold crank amps, that would pretty much, like I said, you want to start at your battery and finish at your battery. And what I mean by finish, at the end, if I couldn't find anything else, and I still would do it anyways, you'd want to check your ground, make sure you got a good ground. That would be kind of like the finishing point. Actually, it's really the positive leads at your finishing point, because despite what everybody says, electricity flows from negative to positive, and I'm not going to get a big debate about that. If you want to, you can test it out with a compass. Run some battery voltage from your negative lead to your positive lead, see which way your compass needle points, and then you can come to your own conclusions. But anyways, but so I really need to test the battery first, and I'll decide what I'm going to do next. Probably what I'm going to go after next is my coil, and I'll show you how to test the primary and secondary in that to see if that is. But we'll just try troubleshooting through the electrical system, and then if that doesn't turn out to be anything we find there, then we'll start looking at the fuel system. Anyhow, hope this video helps you out and gives you some pointers on ways to test out your battery and your spark plug wires. And if you like this video, hit like, and if you subscribe, you'll see more as they come out. Thank you for watching.